What is up, everybody? It is time to talk about UFC Vegas 32, Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. These are the full card predictions and the betting tips. I'm really looking forward to this card. I think we are in store for some excellent bouts. Should be a lot of fun to break down here. We're going to go from the early prelims, first fight of the night, all the way up at the top of the card. Thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on replay. I really appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. I need at least 175 likes on this video. We're going to break down this card. We're going to talk about it all. If you're new, make sure to subscribe here at MMA Experts. You guys know we cover all things MMA. Appreciate everybody chatting it up with me in the live chat. I am honestly really pumped to see the comeback of Dillashaw in that main event. The co-main event, you know, not bad either. Throughout the card, we have some decent action in store. The undercard brings some heat. I guess the co-main event's not amazing, but that featured bout of the night is something that has me really intrigued because I've actually been pretty high on both Paiva and Phillips. So it's going to be interesting to see them face off. Paiva obviously moving up. But we're going to talk about the first fight of the night. Move on up to the top. So thank you all for tuning in. It was a pretty fun live stream. If you guys aren't tuning into the Fight Companions, make sure you do. We do them for pretty much every UFC, Bellator, and PFL card. It's a lot of enjoyment, and you obviously know we're pretty good with that play-by-play, so make sure to tune into that. But let's start this card off. I'm going to get down to the first fight of the night, also get myself a little sip of this water before we get into it. I'll also check up on the live chat every 3 or 4 fights. If you're watching on replay, obviously we'll have the timestamps in there if you are not interested in the live Q&A. But let's get into it. It is Diana Belbiţă versus Hannah Goldy. Fight here, women's strawweight division. With Belbiţă, kind of awkward Thai style of striking. Definitely a forward-leaning stance, but keeps that chin tucked well. Even though it looks weird, does tuck the chin well. Not a ton of power in her hands, but definitely a boxing-heavy attack and throws a ton of volume. We've seen that in previous fights. Does have some pretty decent grappling defense. Now, on the other side, Hannah Goldy, striking-wise, I really feel like she's a bit stiff. The chin is up high. I mean, she kind of primarily will look for power punches. Not terrible on the ground. Decent girl. I'll be honest with you, looking at the odds, way overpriced for Hannah Goldy. We'll check out the legitimate odds there. That's just what Tapology has listed. The odds have already come down, at least on some sites, minus 150 to plus 130. Belbiţă can even be found at plus 150. I'll be honest, guys. I think Diana Belbiţă's volume is going to be a problem in this fight. I think her pressure, and she also brings in, I believe, a 7.5-inch reach advantage. For me, this is all Diana Belbiţă. I see her winning this fight by a unanimous decision. I think that Diana Belbiţă is a solid dog play. Granted, it is women's MMA, very risky, the riskiest of all mixed martial arts. But I do think that Diana Belbiţă wins this fight. I have the underdog in this matchup. I am riding with her to beat Hannah Goldy in this matchup. I think the volume striking will make the difference here. And honestly, the over-aggressive style, I think could work against someone like Goldy, who I really don't feel like puts her punches together all that well. And the chin being up high, I do see her getting caught. We are riding with Diana Belbiţă, the underdog, to start this card off. Let's get into the next bout of the night, women's flyweight bout. So back-to-back women's matchups. Elise Reed's a really hot prospect outside of the UFC, CFFC champion, though strawweight division. She's now fighting at bantamweight. Excuse me, I said 125, but it's listed at 125. But it's bantamweight. I think that's a Tapology glitch here. I am pretty certain this fight is going to be at women's flyweight. I guess, you know, I should probably run to UFC.com to check because I think Tapology made a little mistake there. I don't want to mislead you guys with this matchup. So let's quickly check on this bout here. But matchup-wise, Sijara Eubanks taking on Elise Reed, who comes in on short notice. Big step up in competition for her. This is a women's flyweight bout. Okay, it's not women's bantamweight. Tapology with a bit of a typo there. But Elise Reed's definitely not a bad fighter. She actually brings in a pretty decent grappling game, kickboxing style, striking, has a pretty mean mean straight right hand, and also actually has a solid jab as well. And being a CFFC champion in the strawweight division is a pretty respectable feat. Now moving up a weight class to 125 to fight Sijara Eubanks, who kind of is a prospect killer. She's done it in the past, win over Julia Avila. Granted, 2 straight losses in a row. She is 36 years of age, but in this matchup, I think her grappling is going to shine here. Sijara Eubanks is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, competes in grappling, heavy top control, and honestly, her level changes are timed extremely well. I think they definitely will be in this matchup. I mean, she's known for positional dominance, not really a girl that goes out there and gets finishes, though. In this fight, I actually think the finish is very possible, especially with Reed taking this fight on short notice. I have Sijara Eubanks winning this fight by a second-round submission. She's going to beat Elise Reed here and put together her first win in a while since being on this 2-fight losing skid. Massive favorite, though. Get it quick. Minus 240 for Eubanks, plus 270 at best value for Elise Reed. I think that this is going to be a Sijara Eubanks performance. I don't see the underdog at just 4-0 beating Sijara Eubanks. Yes, Eubanks' record is hideous, but she's actually a pretty good fighter, including her fights from Tough. She'd be 8-6. She was supposed to be a finalist there, but unfortunately that didn't happen for her. But Sijara Eubanks should win this matchup. I see her beating Elise Reed. Good stylistic matchup for her, and I think she puts on a pretty dominant display against this young prospect, especially Elise moving up a weight class. Now, next fight, talk about striking. I think we are in store for a very entertaining striking matchup. On one side, you have Andre Ewell, who is a rangy southpaw. His hands are kind of always low. That's just his style. Very light on his feet. It does fight well from the outside. Pretty good boxing skill set. He mixes it up with shots to the body, which do wear opponents down. Looking at his opponent, though, Julio Arce, also a southpaw. I actually think that's an advantage for Arce because now you won't be able to use that range the same. He won't be able to block out that lead hand of the orthodox fighters, which he'll normally be able to do, especially with that 75-inch reach in this bantamweight division. It's a very long reach. But Arce is actually a pretty solid striker. Now, weaknesses I have seen him is being a bit hittable down the center line. Granted, this is southpaw versus southpaw matchup. That should be eliminated a bit here. His hooks are very powerful, and he likes to mix it up extremely well in the close range, and he'll get down and make it a scrap. Mean hooks. You need to watch out for them. I think that you will potentially be caught by a hook. His chin comes up a bit high. Also, Julio Arce is actually pretty solid in the clinch and trips physically pretty strong as well. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm riding Julio Arce to win this fight by knockout in the second round. We have not seen Ewell stopped in some time, but I think Julio Arce has the power to do so. I am going to ride Julio Arce to win this fight by knockout in round number 2. He's going to beat Andre Ewell here, and he is going to stop him, which would be a pretty signature performance for Julio Arce in this bantamweight matchup here. Now, look at the last fight. Arce lost a split decision to Hakeem Dawodu up a weight class at 145. Dawodu's a monster. Previous bouts, he's fought Juliana Rosa, Shayman Moraes. I'm excited to see him against Andre Ewell here at bantamweight. I am riding Arce to win the matchup. He's a favorite for sure, sitting at around minus 188 at best value to plus 174 for Andre Ewell. I like Arce to win this fight, and I do believe he can get it done by a KO in this matchup. Vera was the last man to stop Andre Ewell, and I think Arce has the tools to do it. He's been hit inside by lesser strikers, and I think Arce is going to put him on it here. And also, I mean, Julio Arce has a win over Dan Ige, even though, you know, some years ago, that's a pretty valuable victory to have on the resume. Striking-wise, he's very nasty. Bantamweight fight here versus Andre Ewell. I think Arce puts on a good show and can start to make a run here, potentially in this bantamweight division. He's 31, so it's really now or never for him to move up. Next fight of the night, another bantamweight battle here. Adrian Yanez versus Randy Zohan Costa. This is awesome matchmaking. Both fighters 27, both strikers. On one side, Randy Costa goes crazy for stoppages. Honestly, he's over-aggressive in my opinion. I'd call him a wild kickboxer. With that over-aggression comes a bit of predictability. I mean, he does kind of throw the same strikes too many times. I've seen it in the past. I think he could potentially be hurt here by Adrian Yanez. I feel like Yanez, we'll call him Mini Masvidal. Really good striking skill set, very fast footwork, quick hands, nasty combination punches, mean hooks, and his right hand is really his money maker. He has serious power in that right hand. I think we're in store for an amazing fight. I think Costa is going to look to make this a war potentially, go out and stop Adrian Yanez, be the first man to give him a defeat inside of the UFC. I think that Adrian Yanez will find a way to land his powerful strikes, and I do think it's 5 minutes or less here. I am going first round knockout for Adrian Yanez over Randy Costa in this matchup. Should be a signature performance for Yanez. He's actually coming off a pretty good win over Lopez. Gustavo Lopez, a nasty fighter outside of the UFC, very solid from the regional circuit. I think, though, Adrian Yanez is going to beat the striker Randy Costa, the Zohan here. Knockout round number 1, another showcase fight, and I'm really excited to see him move up the rankings. Odds-wise, Yanez, -180, Costa, +182. I like the -180 dog, Adrian Yanez. We'll definitely be talking deep about the props later on this week, so make sure you guys tune into that best bets video because we'll have some great talks in store. But let me check up on that live chat and see what's being talked about in here. Appreciate all my people tuning in live. You guys are fantastic. Let's chat it up. This is going to be a fight card to play some bets. Definitely some potential bets here. I got y'all with a lock, 3 to 4 parlay. Stay tuned. All right, Taj, throw it at us for sure. Sick thumbnail. Thank you, man. Thank you. Chris Daukaus, Kyler Phillips, Cory Sandhagen, Miranda, Maverick. If you want better odds, potential. That's a potential play. We'll talk about it towards the end on my end with potential props. Alan Belcher signed with BKFC. That's interesting. You see Cory getting a TKO in the 5th round. Could happen. Eubanks decision. What about Brendan Allen? We'll definitely be talking about that fight soon. He's fighting against Punahele Soriano. Let's see. Yanez, a.k.a. Mini Masvidal. I think that's a great name for him, man. He's got nasty hands, and he's definitely a hot prospect. Just a thought, Yanez versus Victor Rod wasn't that impressive compared to Bruno Silva's win and at a smaller weight. Any thoughts, my guy? Let me pull it back because I want to see how recent that fight was because I think Yanez has definitely improved. Yanez versus Victor Rodriguez, head kick KO. Victor Rodriguez also lost down a weight class to... Oh, yeah, he got knocked out bad by Silva. I mean, you got to think about it, right? Both guys knocked him out in the 1st round. One just did it faster. Probably some damage in the recovery process. I feel like, honestly, here, Yanez is going to put on a showcase. I still think Yanez, pretty hot prospect, and I think he actually has some legit skills that we can get behind. I'm excited to see the matchup, and I do think we're on Team Yanez over here. Costa's got a 3-inch reach and 2-inch height, but Yanez is a killer boxer. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But let's get back to the predictions. If you haven't yet, make sure to smash that like button. And let's get back to the picks here. Let's get to our 5th fight of the night. It is Ian Heinisch versus Nasruddin Imavov. Don't know if we're going to see an awesome fight. Let's be honest. Ian Heinisch, though he has a nice knockout of Gerald Meerschaert, tends to be a pressure-style wrestler. He's going to look to hold, look to get the fight against the cage, look to work towards takedowns. Does have some okay KO power and pretty nasty body kicks. That's a definitely striking attribute Heinisch brings to the table. On the other side, Imavov's actually a pretty good kickboxer, but the problem is he really has a hard time keeping the superior wrestlers off of him. Look at that Phil Hawes fight. Clearly lost the first 2 rounds. I feel like we are going to see Ian Heinisch out-muscle, out-grapple, and control Imavov for a grind-heavy, unanimous decision. I will be picking Ian Heinisch here. I think he's going to get it done against Nasruddin Imavov. Even though he's at a disadvantage with height and reach, I feel like Imavov doesn't keep superior wrestlers off of him all that well. I think Heinisch finds a way inside. Heinisch finds a way to get this fight to the floor, and Heinisch finds a way to win this fight. We are riding with him here. Odds-wise, Ian Heinisch, -137 at best value. Nasruddin Imavov at +131. I like Ian Heinisch. Even in defeat against Kelvin Gastelum, I thought he looked pretty decent. I mean, he did shoot up a lot of submission attempts, took Kelvin Gastelum down, and did go the distance with the dangerous Kelvin Gastelum. But let's keep on moving here, guys. Let's get to our next fight of the night. It is Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Chris Daukaus. Now, Abdurakhimov is a pretty underrated guy in the heavyweight division. He's been in there with some good names, has beaten some good names. Win over Marcin Tybura 2 years ago. Tough loss to Curtis Blades, but Blades is a hellish matchup for most. Daukaus, on the other stand, has burst onto the scene in this past year and a half. Actually, past year. That's when he made his UFC debut. Knocked out Parker Porter, knocked out Rodrigo Nascimento, and he knocked out Aleksei Oleinik. Striking-wise, Chris Daukaus can put them together with his boxing. better than most heavyweights out there. I mean, he's very fast, light on his feet. His right hand and his left hook, both dangerous punches. Definitely boxing heavy style, and he's going to use it here against Abdurakhimov. Yes, Abdurakhimov does bring some positive factors. I would definitely say his takedowns are pretty good, but he looks to set them up with overhands. His striking game is amateuristic compared to Chris Daukaus. I think the speed advantage is going to be on display here. Abdurakhimov is old. He's been out of the cage for a very long time. His last performance was a dominant loss to top-rated guy in Curtis Blades. I think Chris Daukaus puts on a showcase fight here. His takedown defense is very good. He's very good with his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, though we haven't seen it yet in the UFC. He does have the skills. Knockout win, round 1 for Chris Daukaus, and I think he is one of the hottest prospects in this heavyweight division, and I really can't wait to see how far he can take it here. I definitely see him beating Shamil Abdurakhimov. Odds-wise, Daukaus around -196, Abdurakhimov +174. I like Christopher Daukaus by KO in that first round here. Keep on moving up the card, and we have arrived at the featured prelim of the night. Punahele Soriano versus Brendan All-In Allen. I think competitive fight. On one side, Allen brings in very nasty grappling. He's good with his takedowns. He's good with his control against the cage, and his trips from there are also very good. Submission skill set is real. On the other side, Punahele Soriano, southpaw, very powerful striking. Pretty much all his shots are power. He will look to throw knockout punches. Now, has a wrestling background and a judo background, was a state champion in both arts. That's something to note, and I think that's a factor in this matchup. You look at Allen, he's going to need to get this fight to the floor. I think there's going to be a real strength advantage for Punahele Soriano. I think his wrestling defense will be good. Defensively, I feel like Brendan Allen has some serious holes in his striking game. Sean Strickland beat the brakes off of him. I think Punahele Soriano puts on a potential display here. Prop betting wise, maybe sprinkle Allen by submission, but the prop's not out yet. We'll talk about that on the best bets video. But I'll ride Punahele Soriano by KO. I'm feeling second round knockout for Soriano, but early second round. Could also see it in the first. He put it on Duško Todorovic, made us think Todorovic had no chin, and then Gregory Rodriguez, the absolute house, couldn't put Todorovic out. Punahele Soriano hits really hard. He's going to knock out Brendan Allen in this fight, and I think he really emerges on the scene after this victory. Soriano is the -107 favorite to Allen, who's sitting around the +100 as a dog, but realistically, it's even Stevens money here, and we're riding with Punahele Soriano for the win. Exciting fights. Very exciting fights. Let me check up on that live chat before we get to the main card. Appreciate all my people for tuning in. Let's see. Yeah, both are pretty good. That's a very tough fight between Allen and Soriano. Be cautious with the bet. Heinisch. Yeah, I like the wrestling, man. That's why I'm going with Heinisch. But striking-wise, I think the Imavov has a lot of things to like. Decision. Daukaus. I'm not going to call Daukaus a lock because of the wrestling game of Shamil, but I do think he'll win the fight. Daukaus is running through these top guys. He definitely could, man. Daukaus KO, though, for sure. I think he knocks him out in the first, but the wrestling's the only thing I fear here. But yeah, Abdurakhimov is kind of like a slightly better version of... I guess, well, I'm losing the name. I'm losing the name here. The man that just fought OSP. The name's totally escaping me, guys. I apologize. He took Allen at +110. That's not a bad bet. I think he could win the fight. Allen for plus money could cash. Yeah, Soriano, 8-0 Soriano. TKO. Yeah, Allen has no power to hurt Soriano. Stream is fire. Punahele is scary. Should we worry about cardio? The main thing I would be concerned with Soriano could really be the cardio. He goes too crazy early. He gasses out. And then next thing you know, Brendan Allen somehow locks in a submission. But I don't think so. I think that we're going to see Punahele Soriano be a bit more patient than that fight against Duško. I do think he'll hurt Brendan Allen. I do think he'll stop him. But he's going to be improving. And he's definitely getting better and better each time out. I'm honestly pumped for that matchup. Yeah, Allen is not nearly as thick as Soriano. I think the broad shoulders of Soriano give him as much reach as he has. But let's get to this main card. If you guys have not yet, make sure you smash that like button. New here, subscribe to the channel too. We cover all things MMA. And this is our UFC Vegas 32 full card predictions and betting tips video. Mickey Gall versus Jordan Williams. Mickey Gall has lost to some of the worst fighters at this point in the UFC. Mike Perry, who's downhill as hell. In his prime, he's an animal, but he's downhill as hell when Gall lost to him. And he lost to him grappling, sadly enough. And Hall was known as the jiu-jitsu practitioner there. He also got finished by Diego Sanchez. That's a hard pill to swallow. That's a bad loss. Diego Sanchez finishing you at the time that he did, I believe it was, what was it, 2019? 2 years ago? That's a really bad loss. And since then, he beat a no-name, Salim Torori. Jordan Williams knocked out Gregory Rodriguez, though maybe a lucky punch. Rodriguez is an absolute tank, and Williams has the power to sleep him. Also, let's mention this. Williams is dropping down a weight class. He was previously fighting in the UFC at 185, but was super undersized for that weight class and would come in, like you can see, he weighed 182. He did not cut any weight. Should be a pretty all right cut to 170. Gall is the man who beat CM Punk. Other than that, he hasn't done all that much with his UFC career. On the other side, Williams is a pretty nasty southpaw with very fast striking skills. I think he's going to be faster at 170. I think he'll keep the power coming down a weight class. And I think he's going to knock out Mickey Gall in the second round. I think he's going to find a way inside of the range. I think he lands a beautiful straight shot to the chin, puts Mickey Gall down, gets himself a finish here. Second round knockout for Jordan Williams. And I do think he starts to edge up this 170-pound weight class. I don't know how far he will take it, but I am a fan, and I am rooting for Jordan Williams here, and I see him winning this fight, and it's our first on the main card. Minus 189 favorite is Williams. Mickey Gall, the plus 175 dog. I like Jordan Williams in this fight here. Let's keep on moving up. Maycee Barber versus Miranda Fear the Maverick. Now, on one side, Maycee Barber, I mean, at one point, I really feel like she was thought of maybe the next big thing. She wanted to be the youngest champion. That's kind of gone way downhill and crashed. She lost to Roxanne and Alexa Grasso. Against Grasso, beaten on the striking department. Against Roxanne, beaten more with the grappling, hurt her knees. On the other side, Miranda Maverick has losses as a pro, but has looked very good inside of the UFC. She's a very athletic girl who fights well from kickboxing range. Maycee Barber is quite the opposite. She is kind of bad from kickboxing range, misses a ton of strikes. Her volume may be high, but her accuracy is low. You look at that Grasso fight. She literally looks like she's shadow boxing with the amount of time she's missing. She's a prospect for sure, but Maverick is the hotter prospect. I think she's a lot closer to the top end of the weight class than her opponent, Maycee Barber here. She's also a good grappler. Kind of every factor goes towards Maverick here. I know it's women's MMA, but this should be a pretty decent lock play. I will ride Miranda Maverick here by a dominant performance, win by decision, and I think that she's definitely going to put it on Maycee Barber in this fight. Miranda Maverick is a minus 135-ish favorite, minus 127 at best value. Barber, you can find her at the best, is plus 131. Fairly close odds here, but it's definitely, in my opinion, the Miranda Maverick show. I don't think it's all that close. I think clear-cut advantages everywhere for Miranda. Besides height, she's 2 inches shorter, but she is even in the reach. Miranda Maverick, also I think she's physically stronger as well. She's going to beat Maycee Barber here and earn herself a pretty big victory. Even though Maycee's on a losing streak, it's still a decent name to have on the resume. Now, the next one is Darren Elkins versus Darrick Minor. I actually think we're in store for a pretty interesting matchup here. Minor's grappling game looked awesome when he fought Charles Rosa. On the other side, Darren Elkins put on a performance, the name is slipping me here, Eduardo Garagori, 13-1, but was lacking in grappling, and Darren Elkins controlled him on the ground in that fight. Elkins is a scrappy fighter. He's known for his comebacks. He's got the damage tattooed across his chest. He was known for taking beatings and coming back, but he is 37 years of age. He's been in several wars. He had a pretty bad losing streak, which was recently snapped. His wrestling abilities are still good here, but on the other side, Darrick Minor is a dangerous grappler. He has very nasty guillotine submissions you need to watch out for, though it's not like Elkins is an easy guy to finish. Minor starts very fast, and I mean, his performance against Charles Rosa was pretty impressive. He put it on a very solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner in Rosa and dominated him. Darren Elkins is not an easy fight, though. Even at 37 years old, he's going to come forward. He's a zombie. He's going to make it a scrap. If Darrick Minor cannot get to fight to the ground, what is he going to do here? I think he'll find himself in a bit of trouble. Now, this is not the Darren Elkins that beat Michael Johnson. This is not the Darren Elkins from several years ago. This is an Elkins who has lost plenty of fights, who is 37, who's looked obviously slowed down. I want Elkins to win, and I will consider dog playing Darren Elkins, maybe on a decision bet. But I feel like Darrick Minor is the faster fighter at this point. His grappling game is pretty decent. I got to edge it to Darrick Minor as of right now. I have him winning this fight by a decision. I do want to see how these guys look at weigh-ins, and maybe somehow the pick will change. But as of right now, we're going Minor for the win. But as a fan, I would like to see Darren Elkins return with victory. Odds-wise, this fight sitting at... Let's see here. Ooh, little glitch with my freaking mouse over here. Hold on. I guess my keypad, a little bit of water was on it. All right, we're good. We're back. All right, Darrick Minor and Darren Elkins. Darrick Minor is a -150 favorite. Elkins around the +150 dog. I'm not going to say Elkins is a terrible underdog. It's just the age, man. The age worries the hell out of me here. So I'll ride with Minor. But Darren Elkins in his prime, I would definitely pick him over Darrick Minor. Let's check up on the live chat before we get to some of the remaining fights of the night here. Allen for plus money could cash. Let's see. Great stream. Thank you. Thank you. Soriano, Miranda, Jordan, Sandhagen. Poor Williams and Emil won't stop mentioning his Anik won't stop mentioning his diabetes. I'm sorry, man. It sucks. Cash out for Maverick. All that green looks great against all of that red. Minor decision. Minor sub. Do you cash on Morozov or Billy AJ? No. I cashed on a different parlay. I cashed on a D-Rod, Gamrot, and Islam Makhachev parlay. So that was a pretty money play that I cashed on the other day. Guys, make sure you smash the like button as we move up through this card. It is time to talk about it. It is our featured bout of the night. It is Kyler Phillips versus Raulian Paiva here. I think we're in store for a very interesting fight because Raulian Paiva is a nasty flyweight. Really nasty. His striking is excellent. Kickboxing-wise, he's very fast. Need to watch out for that rear leg head kick. He throws them often, and they come up really quick. From kickboxing range, he fights very well. He enters and exits range pretty quickly. He's a pretty highly regarded flyweight, I would say, at this point. And his punching from mid-range and combinations, really solid too. Now, the Matrix Kyler Phillips is a dynamic striker who's very light on his feet. Fights well from kickboxing range. Also, both guys, honestly, both of them enter and exit the pocket very well. And he also does have a solid ground game. I think Kyler Phillips is going to have a strength advantage as well inside of the clinch. Odds are wide, though. I don't think you can sleep on Paiva here. 25 years old versus 26. Paiva also 20-3 as a professional. Lots of mixed martial arts experience. Kyler Phillips 9-1. Though Kyler Phillips has been training pretty much his entire life. I think this is actually a lot more competitive than the odds will have it. The problem is Paiva is moving up from 25. At 25, I think he could make a pretty decent run. But at 35, I think Kyler Phillips is still the naturally bigger guy, though the height and reach fairly similar, virtually identical. But Kyler Phillips has the naturally bigger frame. I think that he will win this fight against Paiva. I think the dynamic striking skill set will be on display, though it will be competitive and close. I have Kyler Phillips winning this, but by a decision. I don't think he goes out there and knocks out Paiva. I think he wins a unanimous decision against a really nasty flyweight that if he can get his weight under control, I think Paiva could be a problem down a weight class. We'll ride with Phillips, but I still really like Raulian Paiva odds-wise. Man, Phillips is a -240 favorite to Paiva at a +241 dog. I see why Phillips has the tools to win here, and flyweight Paiva moving up for the first time here. I like Paiva, but he's not going to win here against Kyler Phillips, and that's why we're riding Kyler Phillips for the win. But I am excited for the future of Paiva at just 25. Both guys, bright futures. Co-main event, Aspen Ladd versus Maycee Chiasson. This is an interesting matchup. Chiasson fights pretty well from that kickboxing range. Very tall girl, 5'11", southpaw, 72-inch reach, so she has a pretty solid 6-inch reach advantage against Aspen Ladd here, and she's also 5 inches taller than her opponent. Controlling range is going to be super important for Chikasson here. I just fear she won't be able to. Aspen Ladd is very physically strong. One of the most physically strong girls inside of that UFC bantamweight division. Her style, get inside, look for takedowns, look for the clinch, look for trips from the clinch, get on top, control you, potentially work for ground and pound or submissions. Had that bad loss against Miranda. Knocked out Kunitskaya, though I'm not saying it was a fluky knockout, but you know, she caught her very earlier in the round. Now, she beat Sijara Eubanks grappling-wise. Some wins over, you know, less than impressive competition. Chikasson kind of in a similar spot. She hasn't beaten the best girls inside of the UFC's bantamweight division by any means. I think the physical strength edge for Chikasson, or excuse me, for Aspen Ladd will be a problem for Chikasson. I will ride with Aspen Ladd to win this fight by a decision. I don't think that we're in store for an awesome back and forth, unfortunately. I think we might get a bit of a snoozer here. I'm hoping I'm really wrong, but I have Aspen Ladd winning this fight by a unanimous decision, grappling heavy display. It should be very positionally dominant. Look for her to retain guard, maybe half guard, move towards side control, or at least attempt to win a decision here against Maycee Chikasson. Also, a lot of clinch work against the cage is expected, in my opinion. Aspen Ladd, -170 favorite. Chikasson, +176 at best value. I am riding with Aspen Ladd. Let's get to the main event, because honestly, it's the fight that we're all pumped for. Pretty decent card. It's one of those under-the-radar cards, but it does have a really sweet main event, similar to what we saw last week. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash the like button. We're talking about it. Cory Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw. Killashaw. Snake in the grass Dillashaw. Now, things we have to know. There is a 5-inch height advantage for Cory Sandhagen. Also, TJ Dillashaw is coming off a suspension for EPO. EPO really enhances your cardiovascular ability. Cory Sandhagen is an excellent striker from range. I mean, look at the knockout of Frankie Edgar. Crazy timing, dynamic kickboxing skill set. He has one bad loss. That was to Aljo. It was kind of a fluky loss. They were dry. It went to the ground, and he got choked out. But he's looked unbeatable since then. He goes out and dominates Frankie in the last one quickly. Not even dominates. He destroys him. Destroys Marlon Moraes and sends Marlon way downhill. TJ Dillashaw hasn't been in the octagon for, what, 2.5 years now? 2 years and 5 months. Cejudo knocked him out in 30 seconds. Prior to that, he beat Cody Garbrandt nearly 3 years ago. A win over Cody Garbrandt at this point is good, but it's not top of the top. I think Cory Sandhagen is going to be dynamic from the mid-range. TJ Dillashaw is very fast, moving in and out of the pocket, but I feel like Sandhagen is going to find lots of opportunities to land big shots. Watch for him to chop down the legs of Dillashaw to slow him down, potentially clinching up a bit, maybe some works with the knees. Definitely Dillashaw is going to look to wrestle a bit here. I think that would actually be a best bet for victory, but he's 35. He's going to be slowed. I don't think he has the ability to beat Cory Sandhagen here. I don't even think he has the ability to go the distance. I think Cory Sandhagen knocks out TJ Dillashaw in the 3rd round. Dillashaw is definitely going to be more filled up and not as chinny as that fight with Cejudo. I think that Cory Sandhagen, though, is going to stop him. Potentially front kick. I don't know why I'm feeling that. Don't know for sure, but I'm seeing maybe a front kick for Sandhagen KO. That's a real Mystic Max style pick, but I think Sandhagen is going to knock out TJ Dillashaw inside of that 3rd round. Dillashaw's wrestling is excellent. His movement is second to none, but Cory Sandhagen is a special fighter at this point. He's extremely rangy, fights awesome from the long range, that kickboxing range where it's going to be probably contested throughout most of this fight. I have Cory Sandhagen moving forward and potentially challenging for that title sometime in the near future. TJ Dillashaw takes disappointing loss here after being the former champion. This is a serious jump back into the mix if you're fighting Cory Sandhagen, because this is no easy fight. Odds-wise, Sandhagen, the -167 favorite. TJ Dillashaw, the +164 dog. I do not see this fight going the distance. It's the only prop available. Under 3.5 is -125. I like the under 3.5. Fight does not go the distance. -210. I think that it's going to be 3rd round knockout for Cory Sandhagen, and I think he's going to put it on TJ Dillashaw here in what should be the biggest win of his entire career. I am really looking forward to talking about the best bets. That video will be coming out as soon as the majority of the prop bets release for the card. So that should be a lot of fun. I will check up on that live chat before we get to the parlay portion of this stream. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in and smashing that like button. If you haven't yet, keep on smashing it. Hey, new fan, Christian Ambet, thank you for tuning in. I am on top chat. Let's see. LFA is fireworks tonight. Yeah, I wish I was watching it, but I got to break down the fights, man. We have work to do. Dvorak Paiva would have been sweet. I wanted to see it, man. Paiva moving up is where the trouble is. Paiva's an all right dog. Hey, Czar, appreciate you, brother. Hype MMA, thank you, too. TJ's agent time will be out huge. I agree. Yeah, he KO'd him back in the day, though, long time ago. Sandhagen has been very tough time. Yeah, and you know what? Dillashaw also is running a business. He's running a business full-time, that clean juice thing. I don't know. I think that this is going to be a showcase fight for Sandhagen. I think he's going to get an excellent win to keep his career moving, man. I am so excited to see what he brings to the table. What is up, my brother? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We still have more to this video. It's not done just yet. We have to talk about some potential parlays. This isn't the deepest diving betting look. The deep dive betting look will be coming as soon as all the props release. So, guys, mark it on your calendars. Turn on the post notifications. I am going to be doing the best bets video very soon. It's either going to be tomorrow or the next day, depending when all the props release. And I will give you guys the best betting looks for all the fights on the card, probably on the internet. We are going to go extremely deep, talking about props, parlays, locks, dogs, everything. I cannot wait to do that. This was obviously the full card predictions, and we're still going to give you a preview to the parlays that we can play here. Let me quickly pull up best fight odds. And if you guys have not yet, make sure you smash that like button, spinning back kick that like button. And honestly, support the channel. Subscribe too if you haven't yet. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. And I want to talk about some potential parlays. Now, I am on Sandhagen. You guys know this. He is going to be a keeper inside of my parlays. Now, could that come to bite me in the ass? I don't believe it will. I think that he's going to put on a pretty impressive performance as well. Jordan Williams, Cory Sandhagen parlay, plus 124. I actually think that's a pretty decent and highly possible play here. Now, if you are not on Jordan Williams, you're not feeling him for whatever reason. I don't like talking women's MMA betting-wise, too hype. But this could also cash at plus 106. Sandhagen and Sijara Eubanks is an excellent parlay because stylistically, Sijara Eubanks should put on a showcase fight here. But let's bring Jordan Williams back. We'll talk about a three-fighter parlay. If I had to throw down a three-fighter parlay for the matchups on this card, as crazy as it seems, I also like Miranda Fear the Maverick at plus 266. I don't see her letting me down. Sijara could also be an addition. It would bring you to plus 202. Realistically speaking, you shouldn't pass 2 or 3 fighter parlays if you're looking for profit. Like, parlays in general are extreme risk, but now when you push it past 2 or 3 fighter, you're lottery ticking. And I say this all the time. We do it for fun, and we'll give you some lottery tickets, potentially Yanez, Miranda Maverick, and Sijara Eubanks. Lottery ticket parlay will bring you to plus 655. Now, if you're really feeling confident, maybe you also want to add in Ian Heinisch. Heinisch is another potential play that you could add on there straight even. And if you want to be a true wild man, maybe you add in Diana Belbiţă, the women's dog, plus 3246. That's way too risky, though, for me. The women's game is high risk. High risk. The highest of risk here. Man, some interesting dogs on the card, even picking against them. Like Paiva could be live potentially. I do believe Chikasson's a tricky fight, though. I think Aspen Ladd will put it on her. But this is a real high-risk parlay, the one I just threw at you guys. And you guys can let me know in the live chat if you have any potential parlays that you're playing, anything that you're looking forward to doing, anything you want to let me know that you want to see what is valued at or you want my opinion on, because I definitely will be willing to do that for you guys. Let's see. I think TJ is a great technical striker and could knock out Sandhagen, but definitely not going the distance. Yeah, it's not going the distance. TJ needs to wrestle to win. I agree. Taz has to also watch out for Cory's subs. TJ and Cory, I don't know. Let's see. The LFA card was pretty decent. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that LFA card, man. I did not watch it. I didn't break it down. I probably will be doing LFA this week since we got no Bellator or PFL, so I'll have some extra time to add in some extra picks. But definitely some all right parlays. We'll definitely go deeper with the best bets video. As you guys know, we take that to another level. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to it this week because I do think there's some potential money opportunities. If you guys have not yet, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel too. We got tons of content covering this card coming out this week. Cannot wait for more of it. We'll probably be doing a deep individual breakdown for the Sandhagen versus Dillashaw fight, looking to potentially get a guest on, just working out who it is going to be. So that should be a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you guys really enjoyed. Smash the like button. As I said, we need at least 175 likes on this video. New to the channel, make sure to subscribe and you turn on those post notifications. You guys won't miss a stream. You guys know I live stream pretty much every night. I really enjoy doing so. Thank you all so much for being here. You guys are all great. I love all of you. Appreciate the continued support. And I will see you all in the next stream, which will probably be tomorrow. Follow the Instagram as well if you want, the most live updates possible. Thank you all so much. And I will see everybody in tomorrow's stream.